The problem, and Lydia touched on it as well, with all the spikes in Omicron cases, just getting a test to see if you have it or not has gotten to be a Herculean effort. There's simply an overtaxed system, as I said, 3 days in a row, better than 1 million cases. A key player that is Prophase Diagnostics, which offers a broad array of diagnostic and testing services to help deal with just this. Ted Karkus joins us right now, the company's CEO. Ted, good to have you.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks for having me on your show.
Where do we stand on these tests? Are people having a devil of time getting them and finding places where they do have them? But has that somewhat stabilized? How would you describe it?
Sure. So it's interesting. I came across a question recently that if we've had COVID with us for a couple of years now, why would it be so difficult to get a test? The issue is we built out this fabulous lab in Garden City, New York, 25,000 square feet, enough equipment to test 50,000 people a day. The problem is COVID comes in waves, and it's not a linear relationship. When it comes hard. For example, over the summertime, the incidence was very low. We had some waves up and down, and then recently, out of nowhere, there was just an enormous spike over the last few weeks. And the incidence of COVID, for instance, in the state of New York, went from the peak last year, which was, when everybody was in a panic, it was about 15,000 tests a day, whereas recently it's in New York, it's about 65,000. Nationwide, we went from a peak in January of 250,000 to currently about 400,000. There's an enormous number of people getting COVID every day. Everyone out of nowhere, particularly in the state of New York, wants to be tested. So what happens is we have the equipment, we have the supplies. The problem is it's a labor-intensive business. So the number of people we might need to test 1,000 people might be 30 people. But all of a sudden, if we have 10,000 people that want to come to our lab to be tested in a day, we need 250 people. So just last week, I reported that our employees in our lab went from maybe 50 to 200 just in the last week. Since last week, we've hired another 50 employees. We're ramping up as quickly as we can. But in the meantime, we then get jammed up with specimens, and we have to make the decision, do we cut back on the number of specimens, or do the turnaround times increase? Historically, our turnaround times were 12 to 24 hours. 2 weeks ago, when things got really crazy, our turnaround times were probably 4, 5, 6 days. Now it's normalizing a little bit, but it's normalizing more around 2 to 3 days. I really want to get back to that 24 hours, because the sooner you find out if you have COVID, the sooner you can get to be quarantined, which is critically important if you really want to slow the contagiousness of this disease.
I know this is a very contagious virus. I get that. But in the testing process, what percentage are testing positive?
Oh, my. I haven't looked at the numbers, and it depends on whether you're talking about in the state of New York or across the country,
right.
And where our specimens are coming from. But 10% number is probably normal, and I've seen as much as 20%. There's a confounding variable in there, in that you have to ask yourself, are the people being tested because they have symptoms, or is it just everybody that wants to be tested? So the percentages are going to change depending on the psychology at the moment of when the patients and who the patients are that want to be tested and why they're being motivated to be tested.
Do you think we're in the final blow-off stage of this, Ted? I know it's more a general question than a scientific one, but
sure,
that this is the final throes of it. What do you think?
So, it's a good question. I hate to be depressing about this, but I argued a year ago, COVID's not going away any more than flu ever goes away. Flu doesn't go away. Each year it mutates. Each year we develop a vaccine. It takes 6, 9, 12 months to develop a vaccine based on the flu virus that we had the previous year, which mutates. In the case of COVID, it mutates faster and it's more contagious. So if in our lifetime we've never been able to cure flu, how are we going to cure COVID when it's simply similar to the flu virus, except it's more deadly? The positive news, though, is over time, even though it's more deadly, it's becoming less dangerous and less deadly. Omicron is less deadly than prior versions of the flu. However, it's also more contagious. So I don't see it going away. We're going to be, and the best way to cut down on the spread of it really is quarantining. And to quarantine, you need an accurate PCR test result.
Got it. It all goes back to that. Ted Karkus, thank you. Prophase CEO, following these latest developments and the rush to get tested. Throngs are trying to, and it's easier said than done.